what's good, man? Welcome back to the channel. Reese's Sideliner, as y'all can tell, much higher spirits than I was in last video. Due to us, I was nervous. It was definitely looking bad, especially that first quarter being down 22-8. It really looked like Dallas was about to run away with that one. Just very, once again, opening up the game, atrociously shooting from deep. 0 of 6 in the first quarter, and it was one of the many reasons that the Thunder had to play from behind in this game, but thankfully, causing some turnovers on the back end of that first quarter, getting out of transition, helped shave the deficit just a little bit, but not able to really get much to fall whatsoever in that first half. I want to say we ended up 43 points in the first half, down 54-43. It was an 11-point deficit. Everybody was playing out of control, just out of hand. Like it was ridiculous. Except for Shai. I mean, in that first half, I want to say he only had 16. He didn't have the greatest performance, but he was scoring when he could. He was getting to his spots and getting shots to fall periodically and sporadically. But for the most part, J-Dub was out of control, falling all over the ground, losing the ball. Lou Dort wasn't able to get anything going. Do I even have to mention Josh Giddey's name? Chet had a solid game, but like I said, in that first half, just nobody really, aside from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, able to really get much going. It was probably the worst I've ever seen the team look throughout this entire 82 games in the regular season, and then now 8 games in the playoffs, so 90 total games. It's probably the worst I've seen the team look. Just thankfully, there was a guy. There was a guy by the name of Lou Dort that was drafted into the NBA. He found his way to our team, and we are ever so grateful to have him because he has been giving Luka hell on the defensive end, man. I'm not even going to be able to express how grateful I am that we have a defender in Lou Dort on this team that can go out there and give a guy that's third in MVP. He's giving him trouble. Lou Dort. You talking about the dude that cost us the game in the bubble against the Rockets. That Lou Dort right there, it's a blessing, man. And then guys like Case and Wallace coming off the bench and kind of giving Luka a little bit of Kyrie, but giving him a little bit of trouble. Guys that are supposed to be these all NBA talents. Like we have pieces, man. We have the writing is on the wall, but this is still a very young team, and a lot of that is showing throughout these first 4 games of this series. But back to Lou Dort, open up the game. They call 2 ticky-tack BS, flopping whatever kind of calls with him trying to guard Luka Doncic. Mark Daigneault said, whatever, keep him in the game. And that was probably the right call because Luka was unable to do anything really for this entire game. I want to say he had 12 points in the first half, 6 points in the second half, and a lot of that was due to this man, Lou Dort. He flustered him as much as he could, just doing his job, not really caring about the complaining and the flopping, getting him as flustered as he possibly can with a guy like Luka Doncic's caliber. In my opinion, 10 threes is way too many threes for Lou Dort to be taken for a guy that, yeah, he did shoot 40% in the regular season, but like a lot of people, including myself, were saying, you're going to have to prove that in the playoffs, brother. You're going to have to show us that you are a consistent threat from deep for us to respect that shot. And you're seeing a lot of that in his Mavericks series. He's getting a lot of open looks, even on the ones that they are getting, some kind of contest up on. It's just he's taking too many, in my opinion. A total of 10, I want to say. Yeah, he went 3 of 10 from deep, shot an overall 29% for the game. But late in that game, he had 2 huge corner threes that probably were the biggest shots of the game, aside from the one that Chet hit on that 9-0 run that eventually gave us the lead, 89-86. And from there, we just didn't look back. He did go 6 of 6 from the line, which is outstanding for Lou Dort. The entire team as a whole went 23 of 24 from the free throw line. The only player that missed was Chet. He went 5 of 6 from the line, though. So, really had a good whistle in this one, being the away team. And when you give the momentum to a young team heading back to their home arena, which is called Loud City, where we have had an amazing season all year. We have held it down at home. I'm not sure the actual record, but I'm pretty sure we are above 500 at home, well above 500. So, we've won 3 of our 4 games at home already out of this in this postseason. Giving us that momentum, and the way that Shai ended that game, going into Game 5, I'm really liking our chances. But like I said, there's still a lot to be desired. There is still some concern there, especially with the offense. You can't be a starter on a playoff team and only able to play 12 minutes. Josh Giddey, 12 minutes in a game. In the playoffs as a starter, you're getting outplayed by Cason Wallace. A rookie is getting more burn than you off the bench. Damn, he had to pull Kenny Hustle. Kenny Hustle got some first half burn because Josh Giddey is just that bad. I'm tired of seeing it, man. Like, really, I respect Josh Giddey's game in other aspects. He's a great rebounder for his size and his position. He can go out there and get you 10 rebounds on a good day. He can go out there and get you 10 assists on a good day, but we're not seeing that at all from him in this postseason, especially in this series. He's getting bottled the hell up. He got blocked 3 different times in the first half at the rim. 2 of those being the same dude. Derrick Jones Jr. was up in his jersey, getting him flustered. He couldn't get anything to fall as far as a jumper. It's so ugly. It's inconsistent. Like I said, I'm just tired of seeing it, man. I want to say game 2, he played 13 minutes. Game 4, he played 10. Or vice versa. And then in this one, he's playing 12 minutes. He scored 5 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, a block, 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. Now, albeit we won by 4, so his 5 points were very, very critical. But at the same time, you can't be a starter in this league on a championship caliber team, because this is a championship caliber team. We may be a piece or 2 away, or some experience, a couple years experience away, but this is the making of a championship team. We have a rim defender, a rim protector, and a Chet Holmgren who can also stretch the floor. We're talking about modern day NBA. He can protect the rim as well as stretch the floor. He can get you that mid-range fadeaway here and there. He can pull up from mid. He's a decent free throw shooter. Like I said, he shot 86% in this one. Not to mention, you have a star who just finished second in MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who can lock in that fourth quarter and get you clutch basket after clutch basket after clutch basket. You have the defender in Lou Dort. J-Dub, who had his worst, possibly his worst game of his career in this one, who can be a solid second option, especially in that fourth quarter where we know he can come alive majority of the time, which wasn't the case in this one. But at the same time, this is the making of a championship caliber team. So for Josh Giddey, like I said in the last one, man, something just has to be done. Something has to be done. He has to be moved, and we got to get something done. Him coming off the bench isn't really going to help us, because who do we have off the bench that could really fill his shoes as far as playmaking and rebounding goes? You know what I mean? So we would have to move on from him and find something that could possibly replicate the production that he does bring, but more so of a scoring threat on the offensive end. At least a shooter. At least somebody that can shoot the ball. Like, it's getting ridiculous. And like I said, J-Dub had his worst game probably of his career. Nearly 41 minutes played, so fatigue definitely could have been a factor. But he shot worse than Lou Dort for this one. Dort shot 29%, J-Dub 5 of 19, 26% from the field. He was 4 of 4 from the free throw, And his stat line was filled to the brim, though. He ended with 14 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. So although the shot wasn't falling in other areas and other aspects of the game, he was, continuing to be assertive and aggressive and assert himself on the offensive end, although the shot was inconsistent the entire night. He made it a point to have the defense still have to respect his game. Him crashing the glass, which we've been getting beat up on the entire series, was huge for us. 9 rebounds, which tied the most for our team. I want to say Daniel Gafford or PJ Washington and Luka Doncic over on the other side had 12. So he's pacing right up there with the leading rebounders for the game. And then, like I said, his playmaking was all right. 6 assists, you know what I mean? And then him getting 4 steals. That's huge for us. One of them being really, really big on that in the back end of that fourth quarter, helped us make a lead that charge on the run alongside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who really came alive in that second half, more specifically that fourth quarter. In that first quarter, though, he was getting to his spots, getting a few jumpers to fall from the mid-range, 8 points for the quarter, but going into that second, he only was able to get a couple baskets to fall. But coming into that second half, like I said, he really came alive. 12 points in that first half, albeit a struggle down the stretch to get things to fall consistently, especially in that third quarter. But then you go into that final quarter, he really locked in. That's where we really, the shots that he was hitting were duly appreciated and much needed. He led a 9-0 run that, like I said, propelled us to a 3-point lead, which up to that point, which is only our second lead at that point in the game, and a 3-point lead being the largest of those 2 leads. So those were much needed points. His energy, his effort, his aggression was contagious, especially late in that game. 22 points in the second half was the lift that we needed to eventually take that win. I'm very impressed of how he handled himself, especially being not able to have leave a real impact on the game in the first half offensively. The way that he's able to, like Brunson, flip the switch and you can see it in real time. You just love to see that happen, especially in the meaningful moments in the playoffs. He finished the game with 34 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He shot 14 of 27 from the field, 6 of 6 from the line, and 2 of those being the biggest 2 free throws of the game, which sealed it. Gave us a 4-point lead with just 1.4 seconds left to go. Yeah, man. I couldn't be happier that the series is tied as opposed to being 3-1. It's win or stay home. So now we do have a little room for error. You don't want to, like I said, for Dallas to be losing the game at home and then going on the road, not having the momentum. That's tough to, go into the opponent's building and win. Although they did do it in game 2, that's still tough to do. And then if we were to lose game 5 and then go on the road in Dallas down 3-2, that's going to be tough for us as well. So I'm loving this series, though. I'm absolutely loving this series, especially, like I said, the way that Lu Dort has been playing. Outstanding, like just pestering, suffocating defense on Luka for majority of this game. Yeah, they're going to give him the calls because he's Luka Doncic. So a lot of the times, like he fouled out in game 3, I want to say, a lot of the times they're going to give the benefit of the doubt to Luka. And Lu Dort is a big guy, like kind of stocky, fire hydrant kind of build. So Luka is as well, but he has that flopping aspect. So with Lu Dort being such a sturdy body, and if Luka's bouncing off him and flopping, they're going to give him that call. But flipping over, since we're on Luka, let's go ahead and get into him. Pause. Let's get into my notes regarding Luka Doncic. Like I said, he had 12 points in that first half. He was forcing a lot of tough looks, and he was being, like I said, pressured and pestered all game by Lu Dort, which does not help at all. In that third quarter, he was only able to score 2 points, and in that fourth quarter, only 4 points. He finished with 18, so that defense really, on top of him just making some really bad decisions with his shot choice in that fourth quarter, third quarter. A lot of step back looks, like it's that, it's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it. There were times where Luka and Kyrie in this game got away with some crazy carries, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Couple times, one time Kyrie had the ball right here. I want to say it hit his ear, and another time it could have damn near been on top of his head. Luka is just doing the pick up and pull the ball over. Like, they got away with that maybe 7 or 8, maybe even 10 times combined, man. And those are it's just crazy. Like, I thought those were carries. Carries apparently don't get called in the NBA though, because I will say Shai had a few of them in this one too, so I can't really be that hypocritical of it. But it's just the fact that those ones were so blatant. It makes me wonder, like, what really is the purpose of even having that rule in like, if y'all not going to implement the calls, what's the point of even caring about a carry? Anyways, Luka Doncic, he did end up with 12 boards, 10 assists. He got a couple steals and a block, but he shot just 30% from the field as well. So an off night from him. Like I said, Lou Dort, J-Dub also shot 30% and less. So like, it's just like nobody was able to get anything to fall consistently. I want to say Shai probably hit the most shots throughout this game with his 14 of 27. He took the most shots as well. 6 of 20 from the field, 2 of 9 from deep as the number one guy. When you're also your second option is only giving you 9 points in Kyrie Irving, you'd be lucky to win that game. Although PJ Washington has been leading the charge for them in the past 3 games on offense. I want to say 29 or 27, 29 in game 2, 27 in game 3, and then 21 in this one. They had something cooking in those first 2 games. I'm not gonna lie, they had it cooking when they won those back-to-back games. No, it wasn't. Yeah, back-to-back 2 and 3. But that's not going. OKC was not going to continue. I mean, if that's the case, if y'all want to let PJ be that guy, then we're just going to make sure that Luka Doncic has a hard-ass time. Kyrie Irving, I want to say majority of his struggles are on himself, because we know for a fact that Kyrie can go off and give you 40s and 50s if he got it going. But you can't be on a roll if you only taking 11 shots in the game. He was 4 of 11 in this game. He shot less shots than PJ Washington and less shots than Derrick Jones Jr. That's just unacceptable when you are supposed to be a perennial all-star, all-NBA caliber talent. You're supposed to be the second behind Luka when it comes to how you affect the game offensively, being the leader out there on the floor offensively. Yeah, his ball movement, especially in the first half, has been outstanding throughout this entire series. He had 7 assists through 2 quarters. At one point, he had more assists than OKC combined as a team. So his phenomenal ball movement has made a difference, but his lack of scoring or wanting to get looks is really affecting them, and it's a detriment to them once time continues to progress throughout the game. Because, like I said, you can't get on a roll if you don't have a rhythm. So you only taking 11 shots in a 40-minute span that you're on a court. As Kyrie Irving, yes, we know he can get cooking, he can get hot, he can give you those games. But it's not looking like he wants to give you those games. It's very, very weird to see. He's like really just passing he's passing more than anything. Like, is he hurt? Is he not wanting to step on Luka's toes? Is this the game plan that they implemented? I have no idea, but it's honestly mind-boggling to see him performing this way, man. PJ Washington, like I said, has led the charge for him the past few games in scoring. Him as a complementary piece alongside this dynamic duo, albeit a struggle for them in this game, the two of Luka and Kyrie, he's fitting like a glove, bro. And being a guy that's been a fan of him since he's been in Kentucky, I'm loving what I'm seeing, bro. I am loving what I'm seeing from PJ Washington, bro. The evolution of his game. Although he has always been a shooter, even going back to his days in college, PJ Washington is really, really leaving his mark in the playoffs on this Dallas Mavericks roster, man. Like, his consistency to be able to hit from deep, even while being contested, is something that can't be overlooked. He's been a solid shooter, like I said, his entire career going back to college. But when you're doing it in meaningful playoff basketball with the Dallas Mavericks in games 2, 3, and 4, as opposed to just throughout the regular season with Charlotte, when y'all's best winning season was a 43-win season and y'all was 10th. You know what I mean? It's hitting a little different. You feel me? So I'm really, really loving how he is performing alongside these guys. 11 points in the first half. He had 3 threes from deep. He was 4 of 10 from the field, though, so majority of his production was from deep throughout his entire game as well. He got the scoring started off for both sides in that second half on a wide open look. We're just standing there watching him shoot the ball like he ain't been on fire the entire series. We just stand there and watch him shoot it, and it's water. And they go up by 14 points at that point. But after that, he was only able to get a couple more shots to fall, and he finished with just 10 points in that second half, which caused Dallas's offense to stagnate, which is crazy to even say out loud, that PJ Washington not being able to score is the reason why y'all struggled throughout this entire second half. We only allowed 15 points in the third quarter. Luka Doncic, like I said, forced so many tough looks. Kyrie Irving was not aggressive whatsoever. PJ Washington, he scored, I want to say, 9 of their points in that third quarter. So, Derrick Jones Jr., like I mentioned earlier, he has played, he shot more shots than Kyrie Irving. And he had a hell of a game in this one, man. He may have found the perfect place, the perfect role carved out for himself on his Dallas Mavericks organization. His shooting / scoring consistently and efficiency, for the most part, is at an all-time high. He had a career high in three-point shooting this year. His defense is insane for a dude with such a thin frame, but his vertical more than makes up for any mishaps that he may have had. He's able to recover and get block shots like he did on Josh Giddey. He moves pretty decent off the ball too, which can lead to easy looks on lobs, or he can even get to the line where he shot 71%, which is pretty solid in my opinion for a guy that's not looked at to even be effective and get to the line. 70%, hitting 7 out of 10 of your free throws just off a percentage value. That's pretty great in my opinion, man. He finished the game, all in all, great game. 17 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and 4 blocks. The Dallas Mavericks was just sending everything into the stands in this one. 4 blocks for Derrick Jones Jr. Derek Lively also had 4 blocks. I want to say Gafford had 2 or 3. So they all just played very, very solid defense in this one. Damn, I just kicked the camera. And then, like I just mentioned, Derek Lively, who has been the energy all series off the bench for Dallas. He comes in the game and he changes the dynamic of how you have to, well, not really changes it, but kind of elevates it, because he is a younger guy. He has more bounce. He has more energy than a Daniel Gafford. And PJ Washington is more so a perimeter player now in this system. So you got Lively coming in off the bench, who's going to be a lob threat every time he's on the roll. He's a very solid rebounder for such a young guy. And he's also, with the 4 blocks, he can go out there and change the game as far as deterring shots at the rim goes. So his velocity that he slams the ball with, the ferociousness that he plays with, it is very, very exciting to see, especially for a guy that has been through so much in his young life, losing both of his parents up to this point. I want to say he's only 21 years old. So for him to still go out there and perform this way, albeit just 7.6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 blocks. He did lead both teams in bench scoring with 7. Dallas had 21 points to OKC's 12. He ended up with the most with 7. Just really, I want to give my respect and kudos to Derek Lively II for being able to, through all the adversity that he is facing, perform the way that he has throughout this playoffs. And then last but not least, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how Daniel Gafford is just a perfect big to have play alongside Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, man. He puts pressure on the rim as a dunker. It's like shades of Ben Wallace. Like, you talk about Derek Lively throwing the ball down. Gafford is literally, he throws that mug down like Ben Wallace did in 04, like Ben Wallace used to in 04. He's always in the right place at the right time for a dump off about 5 feet within the paint. His rebounding is very solid. He's a plus rim protector. I really love how Daniel Gafford, alongside PJ, has fit into this system. To start the game, he had 7 of Dallas's 11 points in the first 5 minutes. I didn't get his final stat line, that's on me. But all in all, a very solid game for Daniel Gafford. I love the way that we bounced back in this one. I think the key for us is to hold teams under 100 points. If we keep teams from scoring 100 points, we're going to win the game, and that's what has happened in all 6 of our victories. We did not allow 100 points. So that's literally the key for us to win this game, or win this series, is to not allow the Dallas Mavericks to score 100 points, and we should be good. Because in every game that we didn't allow 100 points, we won. Even if it was the 96-92 or 94-92 that we had against the Pelicans in game 1, we still won those games. So that is the key for us to win this series and hopefully advance to the conference finals, where we will be taking on Denver or Minnesota, who has game 5 tonight. Very, very excited for the rest of this playoffs to move ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's keep subscribing. Stick with your boy. Y'all know we enjoy basketball around here. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.